Hello, Dan Hadley, Birmingham's king of the geeks, checking back in. Bad Wolf and BBC Studios, they breadcrumbed us practically throughout the entire anniversary year, didn't they, on reflection? And now it's all over. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to take stock now about that which we got, that we didn't, and wondering whether it was worth the wait, given the fact that there were so many no shows. Fans of David Tennant, of which there are plenty. I think that we did the best out of all of that, didn't we? And if you're David Tennant's bank manager, you did even better. But DT devotees have never had to wait that long for their next fix. David Tennant's off again, isn't he? Off to pastures new. The truth of the matter is that there have been a dozen new pastures for David Tennant since the anniversary specials, but to us, Sofa Side, hosting the BAFTA Awards. That will mark his first on-screen post-TARDIS engagement. Tennant's not been without his controversies himself in recent months, but he remains one of Britain's most popular, dependable actors, be it on TV, film or radio or on the stage. He's just been getting his Shakespeare on again, hasn't he? If you've seen those pictures of him in a jet black kilt, the BAFTA Awards, whilst it is probably the biggest night in British film, it doesn't really mean a great deal to us, to be honest. Or David Tennant and Doctor Who are never too far away from one another. But I have read speculation already about what a 70th anniversary, or a 75th for that matter, could well bring. Only Doctor Who fans. Only Doctor Who fans. Whilst we could be a little tenanted out for now, that won't last forever. And I fully expect to find David Tennant reappearing as either the 10th, the 14th, the Meta Crisis, maybe all of them in some adventures at some point. But maybe you were just like me and you spent much of 2023 wondering who else was going to be there too. Speculating about which past incarnations of our favourite Time Lord would reveal themselves from out of the shadows in either of those 3 anniversary specials. Of course, it turned out in the end, none of them were there for so much as a spit or a cough. So where the hell were they? And more to the point, do we stand any chance at all of seeing any of them ever again? You'll get my thoughts on that later on in the video. First up, let's talk the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi. He made his last on-screen appearance, didn't he, at Christmas 2017, believe it or not, in Twice Upon a Time, where he teamed up with David Bradley as the first Doctor. That topped off Capaldi's just over 3-year on-screen stint. The 65-year-old Scots actor remains thoroughly employable. Further screen and stage roles haven't been slow in coming, have they? In fact, the very latest one, Apple TV's Criminal Record, premieres this week on Wednesday, the 10th of January 2024. Peter co-stars with Cush Jumbo and Stephen Campbell Moore, among others, in this 8-part crime thriller. Now, I don't know if he was filming that at the time that the anniversary specials were filming. In fact, the odds are against it. That was a big window, wasn't it? But if it wasn't this, it was something else. Peter's not short on offers. As regards his appetite to recreate the role of the 12th Doctor, well, he hasn't said a great deal, but he spoke to STV News in November, earnestly replying, "I like the idea of I've gone. All the Doctors I knew were there, and then they were gone, which is part of the whole thing. They didn't exist on the telly. They weren't actors. They were Doctors who were off in time and space, like me." You can't help but respect that, can you? In fact, maybe he's got the right idea and we've got it all wrong. Nevertheless, I doubt there's many of us that don't hope to see Peter Capaldi in Doctor Who for however long at some point in the future. But if there was anyone who seemed a shoo-in for the 60th anniversary, it seemed like it would be Matt Smith. He and David Tennant, they gas one another up all the time. Russell T Davies clearly likes Matt Smith too. Do you remember that idea that he had about a kind of buddy cop Doctor Who event series with the 10th and the 11th Doctor teaming up on some long-form adventure? I don't think it was that unreasonable for us to expect that Matt Smith would have been there on screen come last November. In the event, of course, there was no sign of any tweed whatsoever and no bow tie. Like Capaldi, Smith's not been off screen since leaving Doctor Who in late 2013. First he was in The Crown, wasn't he? And then the Game of Thrones spin-off House of the Dragon. We'll finally be getting the second season of that this year, yes, at last. But as regards Doctor Who and his ongoing connection with it, part of it, Smith seems to view it very differently to Capaldi. He said this at the Middle East Comic Con just last April.
I think it's a really exciting period for Doctor Who.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But you didn't come back.
No.
There were like conversations.
I'm not back. I'm not.
You're never gonna come back?
I think so. I mean, who knows? I doubt it.
How many times have they called you asking?
Never.
Never?
Not once.
Come on.
Not once. No, never. So no, but, you know, I'm a fan now. I can enjoy it as a fan, and I like that.
That's true.
The man was clearly waiting by the phone, wasn't he, ready to take the call and to take up the part again. What went wrong? Matt Smith's still young, and I expect that Russell T Davies has him somewhere in mind for something. Yes, I saw this clip at the time. All of our doctors are fabulous actors, aren't they? Is it any wonder that we didn't necessarily believe any of that, Matt? I mean, surely actors will say practically anything they're asked to, won't they?
You're watching Type 40.
Yeah, we didn't see Paul on screen in November, but we did hear him, didn't we, narrating that official promotional clip package thing to great effect for the 60th anniversary. The Adventure of a Lifetime was a nicely put together couple of minutes worth, and Paul's beautifully understated voiceover absolutely stoked me up for the event series and the entire season. Now, early in November, reports were circulating of a far more substantial and significant return for Paul McGann as part of the Whoniverse. Paul McGann himself spoke quickly to a friend of Type 40 within 24 hours of the Daily Mirror printing this story of how he was back for his own spin-off series that was supposed to do its part to expand and exploit Doctor Who in the same way that the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Star Wars have been. We've heard there is more to this. There was more to this, and maybe there will be again. Never say never. Right, Paul? Now, I know what you're thinking. Aren't we forgetting someone? As if we could. But Christopher Eccleston, he's made it pretty clear it's a firm no from him. When the Ninth Doctor went publicly on record just a few weeks ago, well, I expect you saw the blast radius of that. Under current circumstances, there's no chance of him returning, but I suppose circumstances do change. We'll come back to that. So that's a quick roundup of where they're all at, all our new series doctors there. In the mix, we have a group of men who, between them, their headspaces are really running the gamut, aren't they? Each of them could potentially change their minds based on what is particular to them. It's also more than evident that whether they're on screen or not, each of them is also very much still the Doctor, as affectionate, connected, proud, and huge ambassadors for the series, for the character, as much now as they ever were when they were playing the part themselves. Does it matter that they weren't there during the 60th anniversary? Yes, I feel it does. As someone who enjoyed the specials for the most part, David Tennant did undoubtedly bring his A game. And I even appreciate Russell T Davies' point about a multi-doctor story that involves a doctor from the future. It's perfectly valid, novel, and rich with possibilities of its own. It's just I'm not sure the giggle particularly mined for them as well as it could have, as well as it should have. Did we set ourselves up for the fall? Had we the right to expect any of them to show up, to be there over the course of those three specials that will forever now be the lasting statement on the series at its diamond anniversary point? Yes, of course, a 50-year precedent had been well set. We'd even managed to get a multi-Doctor anniversary special of Doctor Who when the series itself wasn't even in production. This one simply can't be put on over-invested, entitled fans like me. We've every right to feel perhaps a little deflated with the 60th anniversary now long in the rearview mirror so quickly. That doesn't mean I believe it's something that's worth dwelling on. I'll be revisiting the specials myself very soon for episodes of Type 40 and Doctor Who podcast, so I hope to have you along for those too. But let me know where you sit on this question. All of these questions. Did Russell T Davies make the right creative call? Did he give you, if not what you wanted, then perhaps what you didn't know you needed as a palate cleanser and something that was definitely different? Especially if you grew up with David Tennant as the 10th Doctor alongside Catherine Tate's Donna Noble originally. Or on the other side, which of those Doctors did you miss the most? Will this one go down as a massive, damp, next to doctorless squib? What even is a squib? We're all eyes and ears in the comments section, so let us know. More videos, podcasts, and live streams on the way from us here at Type 40. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, check you're still subscribed, and hit the cloister bell to get all the notifications about what we're doing next and when we're doing it. There's something for every incarnation of every Doctor Who fan here to discuss at Type 40. But there is someone else, isn't there? Yeah, where was number 4? Tom Baker was the only surviving classic Doctor who didn't get roped into Chris Chibnall's extraordinary The Power of the Doctor the previous year. The then 88-year-old actor and national treasure has been quoted as saying he was simply too busy when the call came in. I'm saying nothing. I'll see you in the comments section.